So the sound that you just heard is how an Indus River dolphin talks. Those click, 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 clicks are the superpower that the dolphin uses when it swims through the mighty Indus River in Pakistan, and that's how it navigates through the Indus River in Pakistan. How many of you have actually spotted a dolphin or an Indus dolphin ever in your life? If not, I tell you, this is one of the most fascinating species we have. It lives through the mighty Indus River, which is able to survive for millions and millions of years. And that's why we call it a living fossil. The Indus River dolphin is such a fascinating creature. But now imagine if you're going to go to the Indus River and watch it for the first time. It is an extraordinary experience. And for me, it was beyond extraordinary. I clearly remember it was over a decade ago when, for the first time, I had gotten an opportunity to go and see the dolphin into the Indus River. And I can tell you honestly, I had a very perfect story made up in my mind to what is it going to look like once I see the dolphin, I come back, and what am I going to tell everybody? And I'm sure any one of you who has a slight interest in nature, slight interest in wildlife would know the fascination you have when you see a wild species, endangered species. You bring back so many stories. And the script was so perfect for me. I was going to tell people, oh, how does the Indus dolphin look like? And how I sailed through the Indus River in a very big boat, and how I was able to see a dolphin jumping out of the river. So fantastic and so amazing that you have a dolphin with the birds flying in the background, with sun setting, and there was also mild music playing in the background, all in my imagination. That did not happen. What happened alternatively is when I went to see the dolphin for the first time in my career, I distinctly remember it was over a decade ago. And when I went there, I got out of the plane, I sat in a car, and the idea was that I'll go to the field, meet a colleague who's arranging a gathering with the communities, and from there we go to the river and see the dolphins. So I'm on my way, sitting in the car, anxiously waiting to how it would go. And then I receive a message on my phone on WhatsApp. Now, remember, it was 10 years ago, right? Over 10 years ago. So the internet connection wasn't very good. And in the remote areas, it's always a challenge to work through the internet. So the message popped from my colleague who was waiting for me in the field. And he said, where are you? When are you arriving? And that message followed a picture. Now, the picture took forever to load up, and I anxiously kept on clicking, clicking, clicking on the screen just for it to load up, for me to see what is there, because he didn't send me a message. But something felt off in my heart. We stopped the car somewhere because I wanted the connections to work better, for the picture to load up. And finally, I was able to see that picture. What came out was a picture of a baby dolphin, what we call it as a calf, a small dolphin. And looking at the picture, I still remember I was sitting at the backside of the car. For a moment, I realized to why my colleague wasn't willing to send me the entire message to what he wanted to share with me. It was a dolphin. I was seeing it for the first time, of course, not in person, still through my phone, but he was not in the water. There was a man holding the dolphin like a baby in its hands. The skin looked very gray and pale for the dolphin. I kept staring on it. So the mouth of the dolphin is called rostrum. It has a long mouth. So the first half of the mouth was cut off, possibly with a knife. So it must have been stuck in someone's fishing net. They tried to just release it so that the fishing net doesn't go disturbed, and they killed the dolphin. The blood was quite vivid from the snout, the rostrum. It looked so gray, so cold. So Bulan is what on the Indus River we call it. Everybody does. Fishers, communities, farmers, anyone who connects with the dolphins, we call it Bulan. The Bulan of the Indus River, the blind Bulan of the Indus River. But that particular moment was a defining period of how my relationship was going to work out with Bulan, the Indus River dolphin. Something that started as an exciting journey to turn into a relationship from there onwards to until today, a relationship that builds upon the shared vulnerability and shared resilience. And after many, many years today, this species makes a really strong part of my identity. So the Indus River dolphin does not see the way we imagine it to be, but it is also not blind as how you and I would imagine it to be. And it does not see the way you and I usually see. It has lived into the Indus River. Now imagine a murky river full of silt, sand, and clay, so thick that it is so difficult to navigate through the waters of the Indus. Over the years, it has paid a lot of attention to one skill: active listening. So, where the eyes didn't work, it tried to listen better, become friends with what goes inside of the rivers through by the power of listening. We call it the echolocation. It sends out those click, 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 clicks as the calls that goes out into the river, touches every surface, and brings back a whole map of the Indus in front of the dolphin. What does a prey species look like? What fish? Where? Where is the problem in the river? And that's how it has been able to navigate and survive through the Indus River system over the past many, many years. And the threats to the dolphins are unfortunately many, many. You heard about one of them: the fishing nets. The unsustainable, illegally placed fishing nets are not just killing the Bulan, they are killing dolphins and whales everywhere in the world as the prime threat. The second biggest problem is the river itself. Now imagine Indus River flowing through the entire Indus River system, starting from the Himalayas to all the way down to Arabian Sea, covering 3,000 plus kilometers of an area which has now fragmented to the development, to the barrages, to the construction, that it has shrunken to less than 1,000-kilometer stretch. That's all you have in Pakistan, the only place where we have dolphins to support these dolphins. And many of them get trapped into the smaller water pools when the river is not flowing, when there is less water. And unless someone jumps into the water, picks them up, rescues them, they trap there, they die there. And pollution on the top of it, coming from every source. We have one of the top 10 most plastic pollution infested Indus River system, to agriculture pollution, all the pollutions that are making this river more and more inhabitable every year. But yet, the Indus River dolphin has a superpower. And thanks to the coordinated conservation efforts, that the species, which has less than 1,100 individuals in 2001, has now has 2,000 plus individuals across the Indus. I don't call it recovery. I call it resilience. I call it the ability to persist and navigate and adapt and learn to survive through the challenges, to become part of the river, to become part of those cultures, become parts of those religious, those part of local heritage values that a dolphin represents in the Indus River system. The people of the Indus River who have lived with the dolphin for many, many, many generations, they see dolphins as a companion. Everywhere in the world where we have river dolphins, the people who live and share their homes with the dolphins, they have established one thing: that these gentle creatures are intelligent, they're benign, but their presence indicate one thing. If you see a dolphin in a river, your river is alive. It's breathing. It is able to support and sustain the life which is important for the survival of many, many us. And that's what we call in the scientific language an indicator species. And not just this, people of the Indus has such a unique shared bond with the Indus dolphin. They see it jumping out of the water every day. They have seen its struggle. They have witnessed how its survival has evolved over the year. And dolphin, very interestingly, is a feminine figure. It represents the power, a feministic figure. It represents the cultures. If you sail through the Indus River, sit with a fisher, it will tell you a lot of stories, and dolphin starts to appear in all of them. Dolphin shapes up the narrative on how the religion connects, how the cultures connect. Dolphin has seen it changing for everyone. So losing a dolphin would mean we lose that relationship of our people with that particular creature and their connection to the river. And that is why we call the power of people who live and share their habitats with the Indus dolphin the custodian of the Indus River. They see it in the troubles, they understand why it's happening, they understand their behavior. And that was the whole idea, to translate communities' bond with the dolphins to make the people of Indus, Indus ke Basi, as the friends of Indus. So Indus ke Basi becomes Bulandos. They become friends of dolphins. And what these friends of dolphins do, there are a handful of people we started with now 200 plus individuals across the Indus dolphin habitat in Pakistan. Whenever they go out to fish, to fetch water, maybe to wash their clothes, to walk along the Indus, they have a paper and a sheet that is given to them, or sometimes they use their mobile. And anytime they see a dolphin trapped in a fishing net somewhere, they see a dolphin in a trouble, maybe in a shallow water body, or maybe they see a dolphin which can be in trouble, possibly because of a threat which is close by, they'll capture it and they bring it back to those who are responsible for their conservation. And that has improved the eyes and ears on the grounds, many, many hundred individuals. And that is helping to support the population. Imagine a species which is defined by the 2000 individuals. Every individual counts, every rescue counts. And that was the sheer bond that goes on to take the custodianship and traditional ecological knowledge to protect the species. And some of the individuals have gone a lot way ahead. They have been able to protect and rescue some of the dolphins. There's one particular story that I remember. A Bulandos, a friend of dolphin, he was working in the field, a farmer, and he saw in the small water body which is bringing water from the main river to come to the to irrigate the irrigation site. He saw very little dolphin baby, little enough that it did not even had the teeth erupted. So he picks it up from the hands, puts it closer to the heart, and takes it to the main river and releases it. And every time you speak to a fisher, he tells you, I realize this dolphin is an indicator. My father has fished in this Indus River for generations. My forefathers have done it. And if I let the river die, I will disappoint my generations. And that's why I have to care about the dolphins. So what resilience mean in this context for me? Resilience is not a thought. It's not a disposition. The story of the dolphin, the story of the Indus River, the story of Bulandost is not distinct. It's a mirror. Resilience is the ability to do things when everything looks glim, when we know that nothing is going to work out. We still take actions. We take actions repeatedly. We show up when we know maybe the outcomes are not going to be what the happy life or happy success would look like. We do it anyway. The Bulan does not know if its population, which is increasing, is a sign of recovery. but it still keeps on swimming under the Indus River everywhere, trying to navigate, adapt, and build a new way of living and surviving within that river system. A Bulandos doesn't know the threads it is recording. The dolphin he's seeing in trouble or she's seeing in trouble and reporting is going to be able to survive the next season. But every day they go out, they collect the information, they report the information anyway. And Indus River system itself is navigating and changing through whatever is coming on its way. And I might know something personally about the resilience as well. I was the first girl in my family to go to study in a college and study science. I chose to work in a career which is wildlife conservation, which is still not considered a very welcoming and open field for women. I do it anyway. And I do it for myself. I do it for dolphins. I do it for conservation. Because one day it might make a difference for women, for conservation, and perhaps for Bulan as well. And I will leave you all with this message. Bulan does not have a choice. It has to navigate through the dark waters of the Indus River. But we do have a choice. We have evidence. And we have the support system and communities that can make a difference. And that is what resilience looks like. And that is seizing the opportunity. Because if we all don't become Bulandost, we will lose dolphins, which are the only species that find Indus Dolphin River as their habitat. So if we lose dolphins from the Indus River in Pakistan, we lose it from everywhere else. And we need to seize the opportunity to protect the dolphins, protect the heritage, protect the cultural values, and most importantly, the connection with the Bulandost, which are there, which understand rivers more than you and I do. And it is everyone's responsibility. Thank you very much.